Have you ever noticed a strange pause in life? Not a breakdown, not a breakthrough, but something in between. Nothing is falling apart on the outside, yet nothing feels solid on the inside either. Your routines still exist, your relationships still function, but your inner response to everything feels towed, as if the volume of the world has been turned down, and your thoughts are suddenly louder. This video is about that pause, not the kind you plan, not the kind you choose, but the kind that arrives quietly, without warning, and changes how you experience everything. Most people assume change happens when something dramatic occurs, a big decision, a loss, a win, or a turning point they can clearly name. But in reality, the most powerful shifts begin much earlier, in a phase that doesn't come with labels or instructions. It's the phase where your old way of being no longer fits, but the new one hasn't fully formed yet, and that can feel deeply unsettling. You may notice that your reactions don't match situations anymore. Things that once triggered strong emotions now barely register. At the same time, small moments carry unexpected weight. A sentence you overhear, a memory that surfaces randomly, a quiet realization that hits harder than any argument ever did. This isn't confusion, it's recalibration. When your inner framework starts changing, your external life doesn't instantly follow. There's a delay, and inside that delay, you begin experiencing life differently before you understand why. This is often when people say, "I don't feel like myself." But that's not entirely true. What's really happening is that you're no longer fully operating from the version of yourself that was built for an earlier chapter of your life. The beliefs, goals, coping mechanisms, and identities that once made sense are slowly losing relevance, not because they were wrong, but because they've done their job. Growth doesn't always feel like expansion. Sometimes it feels like subtraction, like parts of you quietly stepping aside without replacement. This is why clarity often disappears before direction appears. Your mind wants answers, labels, certainty. But during this phase, certainty is temporarily unavailable. You're being asked to experience before you define, to notice before you decide. And that can feel uncomfortable in a world that rewards quick conclusions. You might feel pulled in opposite directions. One part of you wants stability, familiarity, and reassurance. Another part feels restless, questioning things you never questioned before. You may find yourself revisiting old ideas, but no longer believing them, while also not fully embracing anything new. This internal tension isn't a mistake. It's the sign that your internal operating system is updating. During this time, your awareness increases, but your confidence may drop. You see more, but you feel less certain. You notice patterns in people, systems, and even in yourself that you once ignored. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. That can make everyday life feel oddly artificial. Conversations may feel repetitive. Goals may feel hollow. Achievements may feel delayed in their satisfaction, not because life has lost meaning, but because your definition of meaning is changing. This phase often comes with a strange relationship to time. Days may blur together, while certain moments feel stretched. You may feel like you're waiting, but you're not sure for what. It's not boredom, and it's not anticipation either. It's preparation without instructions. Your nervous system is learning how to exist at a new level of perception, and while that adjustment is happening, things can feel unstable internally, even if nothing dramatic is happening externally. This is also why old habits feel weaker. The things you used to rely on for comfort or distraction don't work the same. way anymore. They don't fully satisfy, but you also haven't found replacements yet. That can leave you feeling exposed, as if familiar supports have been quietly removed. But this isn't emptiness. It's space. Space for a more aligned version of you to emerge. One that isn't built on reaction. One that isn't driven by fear. One that doesn't need to prove itself the same way. However, that version can't arrive while the old one is still fully in control. So there's a transition period where neither version is dominant. That's the phase people rarely talk about, because it doesn't look impressive. It doesn't produce immediate results, and it doesn't fit neatly into motivational narratives, but it's where real transformation happens. This is where your relationship with reality subtly shifts. You may notice that situations respond differently to you, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your expectations, boundaries, and emotional investments are adjusting. You may stop chasing certain outcomes. You may stop reacting to certain triggers. You may start valuing presence over prediction. And even if you can't explain it yet, you know something is different. If you're in this phase, here's something important to understand. You are not lost. You are not falling behind. You are not broken. You are between versions of yourself. And that space is not a mistake. It's a requirement. Every meaningful evolution requires a period where the old structure loosens before the new one stabilizes. If that didn't happen, growth would just be repetition in a new costume. So if life feels slightly unfamiliar right now, if your inner world feels ahead of your outer world, if you sense change without being able to describe it, that doesn't mean something is wrong. It means something is forming, and while it may feel unclear, this phase carries a quiet invitation to slow down, to observe, and to allow the next version of you to arrive naturally, not forcefully. Because when it does, it won't feel sudden. It will feel like recognition, like something clicking into place that's been assembling quietly all along.